I'm coming at you with 3 things that every book needs to be a hit. I mean, everybody wants to be a hit, right? And make sure you stay until the end to give you a unofficial, super secret thing that will help your book also be a hit. Number 1! Okay, so number 1, the most important thing, in my opinion, is the cover. I know people say, don't judge a book by its cover, but we do. And I would like to think that I also factor in price and, the blurb and, all the other things that go along with it. But first and foremost, we are visual, we see something, and whether it's the title placement on the cover, like the artwork, whatever it is, we're looking at that and it's luring us in to buy the book. So that really has to be like an important part of it. And I've read some really cruddy books on, Amazon or wherever, and they drew me in because the cover was amazing. So if they could go out there and sell their really crummy books with their super awesome cover, you can sell your super awesome book and also have a super awesome cover. So one of the ways that you can, get that super awesome cover that's going to work, that's going to be a hit, is you need to do a little bit of research, okay? Not just think about what you want or, like something else you've seen that was cool. You really need to get into the top 100 or the top 100 of the subgenre that you're looking at. Say you're looking at, motorcycle club romance or whatever. You really need to see, and I guess those might go under like romantic suspense, but you need to go into like the romantic suspense category and just look at those books and see if there's any common themes. Are they all darkish covers, or do they have like a grittiness about them? Do they have cursive curly fonts, or are they bold impactful fonts? Are they have like a person on them or a scene, or if maybe you're looking at rom-coms or something and there's a lot of cartoon covers, whatever it is. These are the ones that are in the top 100 and they're selling like hotcakes, and you cannot discount the fact that it's part of it is because of their cover. So pay close attention. This doesn't take long. I'm constantly on the top 100, not just on Amazon, but like on Barnes & Noble, some of the other places, because it's not even the same in both platforms. So I like to study them all and kind of get a feel for it. And that kind of starts to get your juices flowing. And whether you create your own covers or you hire them out, it will give you better direction instead of just like, I don't know, or let me come up with something super complicated or super artsy or something that doesn't even fit into the genre. So that is super important. You have to do that. And another thing is that the styles and the trends are constantly changing. So something that you liked, back in 2014, or was a cover of your book in 2014, it's not probably going to work in 2022 because so many different things change. It's just something that's going to have to be looked at ongoing. And anytime that I have recovered one of my older books with a fresh market, cover that fits in the market, it always does well and my sales go back up. So something to consider. I know it is a cost for a lot of people that can't make their own, but at the very least, save up some money for it and really try to, work on improving your covers. And the hard thing for me is I'm like a very like artsy person, and so I have a vision, but my vision doesn't always match the trends or the market. And so yes, maybe my book cover that I have in my brain like relates to the story and it's meaningful, but those people haven't read the story yet, so it's not meaningful to them. And yes, while it's nice to include things that relate to the story, you're basically having hundreds and hundreds of books on the shelves and people are just looking at them. They haven't cracked them open yet, and you're relying on them to pick it because of the cover. So it really has to make a big impact. Okay. Second, you are going to want to have an enticing blurb. Blurb, synopsis, description, that's, what the book's about. It needs to be, telling of what the story is about, but at the same time, there's got to be intrigue, and there's got to be, this will it or will not the thing happen, or will they find love, or, basically if there's not, some sort of like internal question for the person reading it at the end, at the end of your blurb, then they don't need to go read the book. So you want to basically give them a cliffhanger, that's not even a word, cliffhanger in the blurb. Basically like, ooh, and will this happen? Or will they fall in love? Or whatever, And so it's super important to, make sure that it's got that. And then another thing that's very helpful with the blurbs is that, you pull in some of the keywords that are popular, that are in the market, that are trending. So again, if your story is romantic suspense, maybe pop over and look at some of the blurbs over there and see what those really super popular people are putting into their blurbs. Maybe they're saying motorcycle club, alpha male, like I don't know what it is. Whatever their keywords are, they might be like strategically written into the blurb. So I didn't know this when I first started out. That's why I have to tell. Some people like just came into this knowing this. I did not. I wrote something that was like, ooh, I don't want them to know what the book is about because it'll spoil it. And honestly, that's the point of the blurb, is to spoil it a little bit so that they know that they want to read it. A lot of my blurbs I've had to go back and redo in the past because they were so vague that, they would have to already know me and read me and trust me to be able to read that. But if they stumbled upon me, they don't have that built-in trust. So definitely have to keep that in mind. And then another good thing, and this kind of goes back into number one, which was the covers, is taglines are really cool too. So if you have a really snappy tagline on the front of your book, that right there can kind of sell it too. So, think of it as like something that you would put for like an advertisement, just like a one little sentence hook, that's your hook. So those are so important. I've had books that either the blurb got them, there was like a word in the blurb that got them, and they were like, oh my gosh, I got to this one part, and then I was like, I have to get it. So there was something in it, or sometimes it's the tagline on the front. I know that has drawn people into my books. So it just, that's something that I think is very important. So, and number 3, this one actually goes into the formatting of the book. So yes, we all know that you're going to write a fantastic story. Like that's a whole nother episode, is the story itself. We know you've got the goods. You're just trying to get the goods into the right proper hands. So you've got your great cover, you've got your great tagline, you've got an awesome blurb, you've hooked them. Okay, so now they are getting into the book and they're going to read it. So 2 important things to note here is that you need to have like clicky front and back matter. Front matter, maybe you are saying, hey, want to get more whatever from Webster, sign up for the newsletter, give them some kind of little thing. Then at the end, what I like to do is when I get to the very end, instead of saying the end, I just do ... and then like a little page break, and then say, if you enjoyed, these 2 characters, you're gonna love these 2 in this book. And then, I hyperlink that, and then I do like a little graphic at the end that shows the picture of the next book. Because again, people, they read, but they're also visual. And even if it's a standalone, you can send them to another book. I do this all the time because I have tons of standalones. So you could be like, okay, if you enjoyed this book, it's a standalone, you can also go read this book because it's similar in theme or whatever. Just send them on to the next book, and do this with all of your books. And I've slowly been doing this. I wish I would have done this from the beginning because it would have been a whole lot easier. But I am starting to see like good traffic from people going into these other books because I finally set them up properly in the way that they needed to go. So, you want to take them to your next book, and then also let them know about you and like provide all your socials and the links and all of that good stuff in your newsletter because you want them to go there. Another thing that I do is I say, if you want a bonus story about the couple you just read, you can grab it here. And I send them to BookFunnel, where I will have already set up like a chapter or 2 story. That's the bonus story. And I'll ask them for their email address if they want to read the story. And so a lot of people will go do that because they want more, you know, they're at that stage where they want more. So definitely put all this stuff in the back matter, because it's kind of like, you know, you're trying to sell them onto some other things. Another thing that I do is I put a little short excerpt. So whatever book that I'm trying to get them to buy, so we've got the visual, the characters' names and the book name, and then you've got the picture, and then I have an excerpt too. So they might hop on over there and start reading the little excerpt, and I usually do like a chapter or a prologue or something, you know, something that's very like, you know, hooks them. Again, it's all about hooking them. And at the end of that, again, I say, you know, you can read it here or whatever. So those are like 3 things to help make your book a hit, in my opinion. Okay, so now we are here for the final tip, the one that you have waited until the end to hear. My tip is that you need to be enthusiastic. Yes, enthusiastic about your book. 9 times out of 10, when I see people getting excited about something, I just like go get excited too. You know, it's like natural. So, you know, when they're like all proud, like, oh my God, my book came out. Look at this picture. Look at this. Let me show you the inside. Blah, 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 blah. I feel that like excitement too. And I want to go check it out. I want to go support them. I want to go, you know, see what they've got going on in other books and just kind of check them out, you know? So anytime I see somebody that's very genuinely enthusiastic, I am so there for it. So I know that seems like a silly tip, but trust me, it works. If, you know, first and foremost, you need to be excited about your book. It's nothing to be embarrassed about or awkward or nervous or anything like that. Just be happy, be excited about it, and I promise you, people will, you know, it'll be infectious. They'll feel it and they will get excited too. You'll have people, you know, thinking, okay, what's the hype? I see all these other people getting excited about it, you know. I want to be excited too. So it definitely causes a little ripple effect, and I honestly think it's super effective. Those are your 3 special tips with a bonus one at the end on how to, you know, have a hit book. And, you know, a hit can mean different things to different people. For me, I call it a hit when people are talking about it and it's getting shared places, it's moving along the charts, it's making money, you know, like all the things. It's getting good reviews. Okay, so I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I have other videos where I